So, McCluck, after last week's episode, you seem to have become a much calmer and seasoned reviewer.
You're right. I have a reputation to uphold. Right. Better get back on track. Hit it! Let's start at the beginning.
A very good place to start.
So, it turns out that while we were watching that flashback episode last week, somehow they managed to capture the chestburster.
I suppose Wendy did it.
Doesn't quite ring true, does it? I mean, we know how fast these things are and how wild they can be.
Yeah, but come on. Wendy's the special mother to it. It imprinted on her.
Oh yeah, and she excitedly says the pronunciation is tricky, like those clicks and whistles are a language. Since when is a language hereditary?
Oh, come on, McCluck. You're clutching at straws here. This is an alien creature. Why couldn't we imagine that it has some sort of genetic memory? Is that the best you've got?
Okay, let's delve deeper then. First off, the scene with Nibs in maintenance was good. It showed that the team really are treating the robot children like machines, and in order to deal with trauma, they just delete the problematic memories.
So far, so good. We were wondering just what these new creations were. Were they people or just machines? Casually deleting memories clearly makes them just machines.
Glad that's sorted out, but tell me, genius, if you're going to perform such an operation on what is essentially a sentient machine, why leave it to wake up alone? Why allow someone else to be there when she does? Why not inform the other robot children what you had to do to, fix Nibs, so they wouldn't accidentally blurt something out to likely re-traumatize Nibs by pointing out that some of her memories are missing? I mean, what the hell? How irresponsible and unprofessional is this outfit?
Well, it does lead to Wendy having a confrontation with the psychiatrist lady about it.
Yeah, okay. Wendy realizes that despite the scientists' reassurances, they're treating them like machines, which makes her question her own sense of self, which leads her to revert back to her original name, Marcy. Fine. Joe'll be happy about that, as it likely will make her more keen to leave, as if she could. But all of that would have been avoided had they locked the bloody door to Nibs's room. These are supposed to be intelligent people working here.
Okay, I'll grant you that wasn't the cleverest thing to do.
Same with the scene with Yutani and the mediator. First off, the writers clearly have never experienced or even seen a legal process. If you bring your lawyers with you, they do the talking, not you. What's the point of them being there if Yutani and Cavalier do all the talking?
They're more interesting characters?
I guess, since reality and common sense are going out the window, why not lawyers too? Okay. So, that meeting goes totally Cavalier's way. He got Yutani wrapped around his little finger, gets her to pay damages, gets her to pay extra for the creatures, and even wins the argument that he can keep them for 6 more weeks until he returns them for quarantine reasons.
It keeps the story moving.
Come on, you know better than that. This made no sense. I mean, why bring Mora to the meeting and not bring up the fact that she knows the Marginus chief engineer was compromised by Cavalier himself, and the ship was purposely crashed so he could get his hands on the creatures? Even when Yutani knows she's losing the argument, she says nothing. Come on.
Maybe it's part of a process? I mean, you were pissed off about various other facets of the story earlier on, and some of those kind of make more sense now thanks to that flashback episode.
As long as we're right about that. I mean, there's no physical evidence the first xenomorph was possessed by the eye octopus, is there? Maybe it successfully fought it off. We don't really know. So it's just a supposition on our part to explain its erratic behavior. So what's your supposition about the legal case? Why didn't she bring forward her evidence? Especially since, need I repeat it, she brought Mora with her to that meeting.
Well, actually, Kirsch was in that meeting too, and he knows Slighty's been compromised by Morrow, and that's not brought up either. Not even in the scene between Morrow and Kirsch.
Everyone's keeping everything to themselves, even when it could help their cause.
Well, Kirsch does have his own agenda, which hasn't yet been revealed.
Totally. It's becoming clear he knows stuff he isn't sharing, almost as if he's working with Yutani or one of the other companies. I mean, he hasn't said anything about Slightly being compromised by Cavalier, and later, he says nothing about all the mess that's happening in the lab. Almost makes it make sense that he's okay with Isaac feeding the creatures by himself, like he planned it or something.
Well, he did ask if Curly was around so she could assist Isaac.
Yeah, but he didn't push it when Isaac said he can do the job on his own.
True, and we finally get to see those flying creatures.
A creature that just happens to eat metal and electric components, and yet it's kept in a metal and glass cage. Does that make sense to you?
Shows Kirsch was wrong about one thing. Android bodies can still be part of the food chain.
True, but then why not make super sure those particular creatures won't hurt them? He's a machine too, after all.
What if you're right and that was his plan? What if he's the one who jammed the feeding door, forcing Isaac to get into the flying creature's cage?
Ha! Next you're gonna tell me he told the eye octopus to spook Isaac so the cage's door would lock behind him.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
That's one less kid robot we have to worry about.
Well, I guess just like any horror movie, the plot has to depend on idiots doing really stupid things, as happened on the Marginal last episode.
Except that one could be explained by the crew not being the best of the best. Here, they're supposed to be cream of the crop and all that, and yet they still do bone stupid things. Like when Arthur saw Isaac all melted in the cage. Why not call for help immediately? Why open the cage that houses the creature that did this to him and try to get him out on his own? Let's just throw all quarantine protocols out the window. For a second time.
Well, the monsters have to get loose somehow, otherwise, where's the horror?
Sure, I get that, but I'd have preferred it had it not been done in such a stupid way. Okay, I can get Arthur panicking over the loss of Isaac to the only creature that eats electronics. What are the odds, eh? But him not hearing another containment door opening? It's not like those alarm bells are quiet, and the overmorph usually opens when a face is over them, except this time it just opens... just because? Come on. It was just written in a way that said, well, we don't know how to make it all work, so let's just say it did. I mean, Slightly is a very strong machine. Why couldn't he have just grabbed Arthur and forced his head over the egg or something? Something brutal that would have shown just how callous the boy robot can be, you know? He'd do anything for his family. Something like that.
It would have made more sense.
So how come you and I can think of that, but the show writers can't? Hey, the cage door to the metal-eating flying creatures could still have remained open, and Slightly could still have been able to get away with Arthur's body. Anything to make more sense. Nibs' memory loss could still have happened even if they'd warned everyone about what they did, because a slip of the tongue can always take place, which would have affected Wendy in the same way, and Cavalier could have lost the case with Yutani had Morrow spoken out. The coming mayhem would still have happened anyway for any number of reasons. All it would have taken was a tweak here and there, and not have to depend on intelligent people doing moronic things.
I see you're back on form.
I don't complain about scripts just for the fun of it, Commander. I want the stories to be good, and it's really frustrating when you see how they could have been, but the writers just didn't bother for whatever reasons. Alright, that should do for this episode. So, remember, if you like what we do,
and how we do it,
and you feel you'd like to help us out,
please consider joining our Patreon.
As long as you can afford it, of course.
We'll put a link to it in the description below.
Thanks for watching. Do let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll give you the response you deserve.
Oh, come on, McCluck. Oh, come on, McCluck. The crutch... Oh, come on, McCluck. Oh, come on, McCluck. You're clutching at straws here.